And then she lost actually a big number of friends. Her friends, I think two of them told her, you are making the biggest mistake of your life, and if you will be with that man, and these are close best friends, then you don't have to have friendship with us. She chose me. Until now, she doesn't have that friendship. Her cousin actually wrote a letter, very official. Since you're with that man, then I'm not considering you as my family, you know. And these are big challenges, because now she has to lose people who are close to her for me. And you know, when you think about this, then you're like, no, this woman sacrificed a lot, you know. I also need to do something to make sure this works, you know. Yeah, I think 2 years ago we had the worst part of our marriage. Yeah, that was really bad, financially and communication-wise and health-wise. We lost a baby. My wife was pregnant and she lost the pregnancy, and it affected her skin. I think you can see some part because of the medicine they used to remove the baby, and that was really hard. And it was hard. 2 years ago was the hardest. There were some betrayals for sure. I messed up. Yeah, and
what do you mean when you say you messed up?
when I say I messed up is I was not a good husband. I was not taking care of what I should. I was not a good father. It was a short period of time. It was all good, and somehow I don't know what happened. A short period of time, I was not investing enough time for my family, and I think I got also scared because then my wife is sick. We just lost a baby. You know, she lost pregnancy, and I was having too much work at my working place, and all these things just made me crazy, you know. And
So you weren't seeing,
like
were
what I
you?
talked about, if you have trauma in your kid's time and you don't work on it, then when we lost our child, your trauma came back, and you became a completely different person. Like, we always thought he went through it and it healed, but that death of our baby boy was like so painful that all this stuff came out.
Yeah, I was seeking relationship from another woman, and you know, like I just felt like I'm not good enough, and what I have at home is something very precious, and I don't belong there. My wife and my kids are so precious, and I don't belong there. I'm a bad person. I have to go out there. I have to do bad stuff. I have to do alcohol, you know, and all this stuff. And it was hard. It was. We did not talk about divorce even once, but right now, if you ask us, I think we were both kind of ready to walk away from one another, you know, because it was just. And then we didn't even talk about it. It just came in our heads that we need to do something. You know, we
joined the church in that year. Because of Corona, we were not really going to church anymore and everything.
Yeah.
And then the most, I just had a lung infection after losing a baby. A few months later, I had a lung infection. I was a whole week in the hospital. And then we came out, and then I was like, I need to go to church. Even if you don't come, I need to go to church. And then we went to the church, and you told me that you want to get baptized, and on that day, they were showing that there's a baptism in August. And then you got baptized, and even with all the crap going on, we were like, kind of asking God what we should do, And then we felt like God was telling us, go to Egypt. Because in Egypt, we had our first date. When we became a couple, that's the first time we met in Egypt. He went for outreach during the time we were praying and everything. And when we both said yes to it, I also came with an outreach team to Egypt, and we met there the first time as a couple. And then we felt like God was telling us, go back to Egypt, like where your roots were. So we took a whole month off from December till January. There was 22, 23. Went to Egypt, traveled around, and that was really our time of healing. I felt so dead inside, so I felt like I came alive again. And also for you, it was really a time where God showed us so much,
I think it was more about obedience. We both had the feeling, you know, if you check the Bible, there are many stories of where people had to run for refuge. Even Jesus, when he was a baby, the king was killing babies there, and the parents had to run with him into Egypt so that the king can cool down and they can go back to. And so for us, it was more like we had this picture that we need to be in Egypt.